Hello, everyone. My name is Neeraj Atle, and I'm the Managing Director for SUSA for the Indian subcontinent. A very warm welcome to everyone for this very interesting event. Uh, what I'll do in the next couple of minutes is talk to you about why SUSA is an open source company. Yeah, we believe that we are not just open source, but we ensure that all our customers have the flexibility to innovate. And that's something I'm going to talk to you about from an open source perspective. Let's look at a couple of interesting facts. If you look at India and the speed with which we are growing in the next 3 years, or even if you take the next 4 or 5 years, we are going to see a lot of changes on the way. First and most important, every year, India is adding roughly 10 million population to our existing growth. That basically means we are adding one new Australia to India every year. But what does that mean? That basically means that from a technology point of view, we need to improve significantly on our digital citizen services. We have already focused on a digital India as a government, but that needs to ramp up with the speed as we are adding people to this country. If you look at digital transactions, whether they are citizen to government, business to government to government, there is a lot of technology that is needed to make these applications scalable, cyber secure, and most importantly, given our demography, we need to have multilingual applications. We need to leverage video. We need to leverage voice. We need to leverage chat. And of course, we are doing this, but we need to do that a lot more. Secondly, if you look at digital changes in automobile industry, electric vehicles are already seen on the roads, and we're going to see that market become close to a $700 million market by 2025. Now, what does an electric car market mean? It means we need more smart cars and we need more safe cars. If there is a button which you press for starting your air conditioner, or there's a button which you press for getting your music system on, now you will have buttons for increasing the speed of the car. You can't have in the middle of the highway the car getting slow just because the system didn't start. So you need safe technology inside these cars. SUSA is working a lot in this space, and we'll shortly share with you what we are doing in that. There's a lot of change in private public transport. Today, we see a lot of private cars on the road. Going forward, you'll see a lot more cabs, a lot more trains, a lot more public vehicles on the road. And this demographic change is also going to push technology to its limits. If you look at healthcare industry is going to almost double to $638 billion by 2025 in India. We are already seeing health tech companies move really fast. 1mg, for example, they are giving you a medicine at the doorstep. I think Tata just acquired that company. Or Arogya Setu, which is responsible for ensuring millions of Indians get vaccinated. There's a lot more happening in medical devices and IoT. Medical insurance is getting digital. All these changes necessarily need open source technologies because innovation is at the core of this digital growth. If you look at food processing industry, it's going to become $470 billion. Food tech companies like the Zomatos, the Swiggies, the Food Basket, there are so many of those which are coming up, which are ensuring that packaged food and food reaches the last mile. During the pandemic, we saw that packaged food became a necessity because many people didn't even have food at their homes as lockdowns happened. So there are several schemes coming up from the government, the Pradhan Mantri Yojana, where 41 mega food parks are coming up, 353 cold chains are coming up, 63 agro processing units are coming up. The whole supply chain of packaging foods is dramatically improving, and you will see significant amount of technology in this space for sure. You look at the railways, for example, there's $100 billion investment happening in the Indian railways, whether it is smart trains and safe trains that are needed as these investments happen, or it is the public-private partnerships that drive some of these operations. Very shortly, you will see the railway stations become beautiful and being run just like a mall. So government is not just investing in infrastructure, it is monetizing these assets which it is creating. And that requires a lot of technology. You look at agro industry, India is very well known for agro. 67% growth is expected by 2025 in the irrigation water requirement. We need almost 910 billion cubic meter of water additional. That's massive. You can't have that without having developments in technology in the agro side. So whether it is using geosatellite data, whether it is using crop data, weather data, whether it is leveraging IoT in some of these applications, whether it's leveraging edge technologies, and all or many of these are today available on open source platforms for this industry to leverage. Finally, let's look at e-retailing. We all today use the Flipkarts and the Tata Clicks and the Amazons of the world so easily today. Irrespective of which part of the country you are living in, e-retailing is becoming a norm, or it's becoming a very normal thing. As a result, supply chains are being under a tremendous pressure. We are going to see warehousing in the top 8 cities almost double up to 70 million square feet. Yeah. What does that do? That basically means you have a lot more technology, a lot more scale, a lot more multilingual and video driven applications, a lot more AI and ML driven applications. And these are possible only when customers adopt cloud, when they adopt open source technologies that help them scale a lot more than they have been looking at in the last few years. And I cannot close this without talking about the BFSI segment. The banking segment is growing. Banking as a service is coming up. So if you can open a LinkedIn account or a Facebook account in less than a minute, why can't you click and open a bank account? Today, that is becoming reality, and a lot of our customers in the banking space are adopting SUSE technologies, SUSE open source technologies, to come up with innovative solutions. They are using microservices driven applications. Many of them have legacy applications, which they are modernizing, making it microservices driven, and then pushing that to the cloud. So a very interesting era for all of us in this open source space across industries. And I can't take all names, but I've just given you an indicative few industries that have been driving a lot of business. Now, one thing that you will all agree is, for such a growth to happen in India, not just 2025, even beyond, cloud adoption continues to be one of the most important initiatives that most of the organizations are taking. Now, what does cloud adoption mean? If you look at any organization in India, large, medium, or probably in some cases small, they have solutions deployed on various data centers. It could be Tata Communications, NTT, Yotta, Adani Connects, or it could be Control-S. So they have applications deployed on these. There are some applications which they have deployed on either an Amazon or an Azure or a Google. They could have Kubernetes-driven applications on their own on-premise landscape. And then, of course, there is edge. Edge could be video cameras, edge could be earth movers, edge could be electric autonomous vehicles, edge could be robotics, edge could be manufacturing systems. Edge is a whole new world. But for a customer who has deployed applications across these and is in various stages of modernizing them, he requires a single window approach. And that is what Rancher offers. Rancher offers the ability to ensure that access control across all these are done. Backups are done accurately. Centralized authentication is done. Monitoring of alerts across this landscape is done centrally. So there are tremendous benefits of deploying an open source technology like Rancher for monitoring landscapes which are hybrid in nature. Unified enterprise management, and of course, in this process, accelerating the whole DevOps journey that our customers are taking. And we have customers across financial, technology, media and entertainment, healthcare, government, retail and manufacturing, telecom, and so on and so forth. Some of the world's largest companies are using Rancher to speed up their Kubernetes journey, to speed up their application modernization journey. Now, what do I mean by application modernization? I mean, all of you would have seen, wouldn't have taken training to use a Zomato, right? Or none of you would have taken training on how to use a HDFC banking application. These are modern applications. Yeah, they definitely have a lot of artificial intelligence and machine learning built in. They are almost always cloud native. They are almost always working on laptops, desktops, iPads, iPhones with the same ease and flexibility. So modern applications have a certain characteristic. You cannot go to those old school applications that used to be built 10 years back. Now, for a developer who's developing modern applications, he needs tools like Rancher, like the Kubernetes engine that we have. And these applications need to be extremely intuitive. Their user interface needs to be very, very flexible. Their user interface needs to have a lot of workflows in that, needs to have a lot of relevant alerts and analytics in that. So SUSE has invested in the recent Rancher 2.6 that we launched. We have significantly improved the user experience. And the basic purpose is for a development team in 2021 and beyond who is developing modern applications, the expectation of these development organizations is give me a tool that I can use really flexibly, something that can help me configure my services very easily. Don't let me spend time on managing infrastructure. Give me more time to develop applications. And that is something that Rancher is focused on. And we believe in open source, as I said. We don't mandate any specific application that has to be used. So whether it is authentication, for which we offer certified integrations for Okta, GitHub, LDAP, and so many other things, or a customer who's using a certain CI/CD application management platform, typically they use a Jenkins, they could use GitLab, they could use Bamboo. If somebody is managing edge, thousands or even a million applications, edge applications, we offer Fleet. Fleet is an application developed by SUSE for managing a very wide range of edge clusters. Yeah. Monitoring and logging. We offer out of the box integration, and we manage the SLAs for Grafana. We manage it for Prometheus. But if a customer is keen on managing Splunk, almost go ahead. We offer a certified integration. We may not be managing the SLAs around Splunk, but we have a certified integration. So we don't stop the customer from using a technology that he believes is best suited for him. And this goes across the entire DevOps framework, whether it's container engine that we offer like Dockers, or it is persistent storage for which we offer Longhorn, but the customer can feel free to use any other storage application. Yeah. So that's the openness that we offer to this development organization. And very important, as I develop modern applications, they better be safe. My base image hardening needs to be taken care by design, not by process. Identify providers as a part of our logging in process. This application from Rancher allows you to create custom Helm templates. That way, even if you have a fresh, young talent that you are hiring in your organization to develop modern applications, some security fundamentals that you have defined in policies in your organization are still carried forward as a part of the DevOps process. And we recently launched the SLE BCI, which is well integrated, and that is also a big advantage to many of our customers who are using it. Now, apart from this, another area which we are seeing whether it is automotive, chemical, pharma, oil and gas, engineering and construction, many of the places we are seeing the whole IoT and edge arena explode. What do I mean by edge? There is near edge, far edge, and tiny edge. Tiny edge is basically the device, the actual robotic arm that has got, probably in the new scheme of things, it has an instance of Kubernetes or K3s running on it. Yeah. Or it could be far edge, which means it is essentially a data center which is closest, or an industrial hardware which is closest to this tiny edge. Or it is, the core cloud where you have a lot of other applications running. You can have Kubernetes on all these three environments, and you can manage all these clusters using Rancher. That is the beauty. We support Raspberry Pi. You can deploy Kubernetes and manage all of this, whether it's Raspberry Pi or it's an ARM chipset. We have a lot of our customers who are experimenting with both, and many of them who have production environments where these edge applications are managed by SUSE technology. These edge applications, just to give you an example, Hypergiant, we have Rancher running on Hypergiant. So you can almost say that we have SUSE now running in space and giving a lot of interesting solutions and business benefits to our customers, not just people who have plants on Earth, but people who are rolling out the various satellites and applications even in space. Not just that, in India, we have SUSE deployed across finance, BFSI segment. So whether it's a state bank, whether it is Bombay Stock Exchange, or large IT GSIs like Wipro, like Infosys, like HCL, Tech Mahindra, TCS, so on and so forth. Media companies are running SUSE technologies. Healthcare, government, we see a lot of interesting deployments coming up. Retail, again, an industry which has transformed dramatically during this COVID period. So whether it is running games which require very high speed and zero error platforms to run, or it is a government organization that is running a defense related or a police force related application, we have SUSE running across all of these. So if I look at the SUSE portfolio or the open source solutions that SUSE offer, we just touched upon Rancher, an application which helps a customer manage Kubernetes distros, whether it's on the data center where we have RKE, or it is in the cloud where we have EKS, GKE, and AKS, or it is the edge where we have K3S deployed. All three are managed successfully with the Rancher solution. And Rancher also comes with its own set of features around storage, around managing a large number of clusters with fleet, and so on and so forth. Just like we manage Kubernetes clusters, we also offer SUSE Manager, because many of our customers have SUSE Linux, Red Hat Linux, Ubuntu Linux, Oracle Linux. They have various flavors of Linux running in their environment. To manage all these, to ensure that they are hardened, to ensure that the patching is done with the latest upgrades, and to ensure that the TCO is the lowest, we offer SUSE Manager, which helps our customer manage this environment in a very, very structured way. So applications like Rancher are also complemented with high performance compute environment like Harvester. So SUSE has launched Harvester, a very unique solution. It'll go live very shortly. It's currently in beta testing. Or we have solutions like Epino, or Opni. Opni essentially is an artificial intelligence driven application which looks at all the log files and tells the administrator what he needs to correct. And there are many such applications. Apart from these open source applications, we have ventured into industry specific open source applications also. So let me touch upon a couple of these. Again, I can't take all the applications in such a short time, but just to give you a flavor. Now that 5G as a technology is coming up in a big way, you know that in 5G, almost all telecom players have to significantly increase the number of towers they have. Now, because of that, they realize that because of lack of open source technologies in 5G, many of the telecom operators came together and said, we need to build an open source platform. And that is what is O-RAN. So SUSE became a part of the O-RAN network. And we are working very closely with a lot of the telecom players globally to develop this. O-RAN is a very interesting platform. It's a very interesting network of organizations who have come together to build this open source platform. And the advantage is it's going to significantly reduce the total cost of ownership of deploying some of these telecom towers and the hardware and software that is deployed on them. So we work with Optus, Orange, Telstra in the 5G space. We are working with Sky and Deutsche Telekom. We are working with Orange, Airtel in the OSS BSS layer, so on and so forth. Apart from telecom, where we are specifically focusing on this software-defined network and O-RAN space, we are also working in the autonomous vehicle and electric vehicle space. Now, very shortly, you will see that electric cars are going to have more and more technology in it. Your dashboard, which was earlier physical, is now going to become digital. Your engine will go missing, and it's already been replaced by batteries. With the touch of a button, your trunk opens. With voice commands, your speed goes up. With a Alexa type environment, you are able to increase the temperature of your car, so on and so forth. So there are many sensors coming up, but we are significantly reducing the number of chips that manage every aspect of the car. So now you will have a high performance computer at the center of this car, and then you will have sensors at the end, which execute things that the high performance computer tells you. You will be surprised that an electric car has 100 times more lines of code than a space shuttle or a Boeing 787 or a fighter jet. So 750 million lines of code is what we will see in an electric car. 750 million lines of code. That basically means it's almost like a supercomputer that you are sitting inside with a steering wheel in it. Maybe not even a steering wheel going forward. And what this does is these cars of the future will have very different business models. They will have electronic insurance. They will have over-the-air software updates. They will have mobility as a service. Instead of you buying the car, you may just be paying a subscription and taking the car that you like, and you can change it on a monthly basis if you like. All these business processes become relevant and possible only because of some of these new technologies that are coming up, and SUSE is in front and center of this. Yeah, so we are an ideal nimble software partner for the automotive industry. Yeah, whether it is software over the air updates that are needed, or it is a safe Linux. Safe Linux basically means if I'm running at 100 kilometers per hour in the center of the highway, state highway or a national highway, the system shouldn't just shut down. The Linux on which all these applications run better be hardened, better be absolutely proven, better be a safe Linux. Yeah, and that's where we are working with, for example, with Continental, and they have a company called Electrobit, with whom we work. Our SUSE embedded Linux applications are essentially geared up to ensure that some of these interesting solutions are open source and, most importantly, are safe, secure, scalable. Yeah. So with Electrobit, we do a lot of these interesting things, building safe Linux, building a high performance computer that Electrobit has done. And there are many other companies who we are collaborating with in the same space. Yeah. I won't go into the details because that's an area which, if any of you is interested in, do visit us, do connect with us. We will certainly be keen to give you a lot more information on what we are doing. So finally, to summarize this open source journey that SUSE is on and helping our customers innovate at the speed of light. Number one, India is growing rapidly and Digital India is fueling this growth. We are an integral part of this Digital India movement. Second, the whole data center growth that we are seeing will continue. SUSE will continue to support the data center companies with various solutions that we have. Cloud adoption that our customers are going through, the whole application modernization that they are going through. We are front and center. We are working with some of our partners like Carbonize. We are working with HP, for example, who has a massive practice of senior consultants who help customers modernize their applications. Or it is TCS who we work with, or it is SIFI who we work with, or it is NTT who we work with. We have many of our partners who have not only software services, but they have expert consulting services where they engage with SUSE customers to help them modernize applications and then host them on or deploy them on cloud. We are a part of the whole application modernization architecture. We are working in edge in a very big way, not just in telecom, automotive, and a few others, but we are working across industries. SUSE solutions definitely enable innovation. Very soon you will see that we had launched India Innovation Hero Awards, and you will see the winners coming up very shortly. All the best to all the participants who have nominated themselves and shared their very, very interesting and innovative case studies. And last but not the least, the industry solutions, where we see tremendous opportunity to co-innovate. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you from a SUSE perspective. Really appreciate you taking time and enjoy the rest of this session. Thank you. Thank you so much.